What's up, guys? It's JQ, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why the feminist media keeps you in a sexless marriage. So if you are in this situation, you're going to want to stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to give you some tips for how you can get out of this situation. Okay, so I came across this article the other day, it popped across my Facebook feed, and it was from a guy who has been in a sexless marriage for many, many years with his wife, and he's wondering what to do about the situation. And I wanted to read you this article as well as the advice that's given to him so that you can see how flawed the information is out there on the internet and what you actually need to do instead of that. Okay, so this article comes from The Guardian. The Guardian is a very woke, left-leaning website. And so it's going to be based in a lot of, feminine-leaning information. So let's read this article and I'm going to kind of go through it. He says, after years of no sexual intimacy with my wife, I am now craving the comfort of somatic connection, not actual sex, but simply cuddling and being held close while nude. Okay, first of all, I want to just pause right there and say, this guy doesn't just want to cuddle naked. He wants to have sex, but he's saying, I'm willing to settle for naked cuddling in the meantime. And first of all, my heart goes out to this guy. This is a super painful situation to be in. And I understand how painful that could be for him. And I recognize also that he is willing to compromise here. He's a very genuine, is an intention to try to find a compromise that would work for his wife. Unfortunately, this strategy is not going to work, as we'll see in just a moment. But my wife has refused. I've suggested that we try progressive desensitization therapy, which would involve lying down together with one item of clothing removed, but no physical contact. We would build from there with the knowledge that this would not lead to actual sex. My wife, when I suggested it, was not at all interested in this, and in fact, she was actively opposed. All right. She told me the problem was in my head and she had zero interest in physical intimacy. She said this was normal for older women. I told her that it was my impression that older people actually crave appropriate physical touch. She agreed that I could lie in her bed fully clothed before retiring to my own bedroom, but this was just awkward and humiliating for me because it was obvious that she was not in the least interested in my presence, so I gave up on the idea completely. In every other regard, our marriage is healthy. Okay. Buddy, I'm so sorry to tell you, this is not a healthy marriage. It is not a healthy marriage if you're not having sex with your wife. In fact, any relationship, whether you're married or not, if you stop having sex, the relationship is over or it is about to end. And a relationship that does not include sex is not a romantic relationship. That's just a friendship. And I know in this, in this reader's case, this is very difficult and painful. And my heart goes out to him. But this approach is not going to work, as I'll explain here in just a moment. And I understand that this must be just so humiliating for him to be rejected by his own wife. I've talked to a lot of guys who have been in this situation, and I know how painful that can be. At times, I consider asking her if she could accept my seeking intimacy elsewhere, but I think this would lead to the end of our marriage. I feel trapped. I love my wife, but my resentment is growing. Yeah, I'm not surprised that your resentment is growing. So this is a really tough situation, and what is even more interesting though is the advice that is being given, and this is the real point of my video here. So for context, the person responding, she is a therapist, but it's a female, so it's likely that her perspective is potentially going to be from a feminist viewpoint, and it is after reading it. Okay, so I just want to read to you what she said. Your sense of despair and sadness is understandable. You deserve to be happier. Your needs are real and valid, but this is not a sexuality problem. Rather, it is a power struggle that you are losing. Your joint task would be to break down the barriers to fully seeing each other's simple human needs and struggles, to summon empathy and to find common ground. When two people are locked into this kind of emotional prison, it is very difficult to see a way out. There can be a way, but the impasse that has developed is so well entrenched that it is unlikely to be dissolved without the willing participation of both of you to come to some kind of mediation process, preferably couples counseling. Many couples lack the communication and negotiation skills to overcome such a problem without outside help. What the fuck does any of this mean, right? Like, what kind of advice is this? I don't see anything practical in here other than she said you should go to couples counseling, okay? And I'm going to come back to this in just a second. I reviewed a few, this got me curious, and I reviewed a few other articles on the internet. Here's another one from The Guardian. Again, another female writing the article, talking about sexless marriage, and the advice is similar. Talk to your wife, pick a moment to listen, be honest with yourself, be patient, seek help together, go to counseling, etc. So let me tell you why this is not likely to work and why this is actually bad advice, and so how these articles are actually keeping people in sexless marriages and sexless relationships. To do that, I want, and guys that are in this situation who are going through this are so hurt and humiliated by this kind of rejection. And often if the relationship actually does end, the guy will often be shocked that his ex-wife immediately goes out and starts having sex with somebody else right after she told him for years that she didn't want sex from him. So when women say this is almost never true. Why do I know that? Because women need sex just as much, if not more, than men. We can see this in their behavior. We can see this in their actions. Romance novels, which are essentially only written by women, is a huge industry. 50 Shades of Grey, one of the best-selling books of all time. Last year alone, there were 47 million romance novels sold, more than $1.5 billion in sales of romance novels, almost exclusively consumed by women. So women want to have sex, they need to have sex. This is not about her not wanting to have sex. And when a woman says something like, I don't want to do this with you, I don't want to do this, I don't want to have sex, I don't want to do this, add the statement with you to the end of that statement. So if she says, I don't want to have sex, in your mind, add to the statement with you. So I don't want to have sex with you. And I know that might be hurtful and painful to do, but it is going to help you see things more clearly. Now, let's try to look at this from another perspective. So imagine for a moment that your wife or girlfriend over a 6-month period of time gained like 100 pounds to the point that you just weren't feeling attracted to her anymore. And then she starts coming to you, and she on top of that, she stops showering, she stops, washing her hair, she's looking really unkempt. And then she comes to you and she's kind of pawing at you and she's like, please have sex with me. I just really want to have sex with you. I need your attention. How do you think you would feel, right? Would you feel attracted to her? Would you feel like you wanted to give her sex? You might do it because out of love, out of obligation, out of a feeling of sympathy and compassion, but you're probably going to feel kind of turned off by this kind of needy behavior, right? This is why the advice in the article is bad. Oh, figure out her needs, go to her, talk to her, be patient, do nice things for her. That's needy. When you're not getting what you want from somebody and you try to go over the top and just win their approval, people don't actually like that, men or women, but women especially don't like that because it feels needy. So a better solution for your wife, right? If that was your reality, what if she then started eating well, started hitting up the gym, got her life back on track, started having more friends, was doing interesting things, and then now she's suddenly looking hot, right? That would probably make you a lot more interested in having sex with her than her being really needy and trying to beg from you, right? Well, it's the same the other way around. So if your wife or girlfriend doesn't want to have sex with you, the real problem most likely is that she's not feeling attracted to you. And she's not she either doesn't respect you or she doesn't feel attracted to you. Now, attraction for women is more complex than it is for men. For men, mostly we just care about what the girl looks like. And if she looks good, we're going to feel attracted to her for the most part, as long as she doesn't have a terrible personality. But for women, it's more complex. It's not just about looks. Now, if that is an issue and you have let yourself go, start there. Start hitting the gym, start taking care of yourself, upgrade your clothes, develop a better fashion sense, get a better haircut, make sure that you are looking good and you are looking attractive. More on this in a second. Women also care about other masculine traits, such as, are you connected to your purpose? Are you working on your mission? Are you patient? Are you motivated? Are you taking things on? You need to focus. You may need to, if any of these things are missing, you need to get back into the game, not only physically, but you need to work on your purpose. You need to achieve your goals. You need to develop your social life. When you do this and you work on your attractiveness, other women are going to start to notice you. They're going to start to be attracted to you, okay? Now, I'm not telling you to take them up on that and cheat on your wife. What I'm saying is that if you're in a sexless marriage, the best solution to that is most likely to fix the problem, is for you to work on your attractiveness so that other women are paying attention to you. And she needs to see that. She needs to see that other women desire you and that she could potentially lose you. This is at the heart of female psychology, because what women really want is what other women want. We see this with men, we see this with fashion, we see this in many of their behaviors. So when your wife or girlfriend sees other women wanting to be with you, that is going to raise her level of attraction towards you again. Now, this takes out of this, what I'm not mentioning here is if she is going through some sort of personal tragedy which has her be depressed or something like that, that could be another factor that's influencing her, but still she needs to take measures, and that would be understandable if she is going through something like a lost parent or some other deep tragedy in her life. But people, as adults, we have a responsibility to move through these uncomfortable and negative things that happen in all of our lives within a reasonable length of time and get our life back on track and get our head back screwed on straight. Okay? So work on your attractiveness, have other women be attracted to you so that you can go to her and say, look, your perspective should be, I will do anything possible to facilitate us having love, connection, and incredible sex in our relationship. I'll do whatever it takes to make that happen. But I am not going to sit here and remain in a sexless, connectionless marriage indefinitely, because I need and want and deserve that in my life. That needs to be your perspective, and you're not going to accept anything less. When you start acting like this, when you work on your attraction, you stand for your purpose and you stand for what you want, need, and deserve in your relationship, one of two things is going to happen. She's either going to see that and respond positively to it, and you're going to get your marriage back on track, or she's not. And in that case, you should walk away from that. I know that might be difficult to hear, painful, and it may seem like the worst thing in the world, but unless you want to stay in a sexless marriage indefinitely, you need to set the expectation for what the marriage is going to look like and the types of things that are going to happen within the marriage and what you want, deserve, and expect. So to summarize, guys, if you're in a sexless marriage or in a sexless relationship, talking about it, going to therapy, those things, while those can be tools, oftentimes those are not going to address the core issue. The core issue is more likely to be that your wife has lost attraction for you or that she has lost respect for you. And if that's the case, then you need to take steps to rebuild your attraction and rebuild her respect for you. And that gives you a chance at bringing her back in the way that you want to experience her in your relationship. And if that doesn't work, you need to move on. So I hope that helped. If you liked this video, please send it to someone else who could benefit from this message. That really helps the channel grow. And if you'd like my help personally, you can book a one-on-one paid consultation with me through the link in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next video.